What up, YouTube? Flash Speaks back for another video. This is the worst time of year for me because there is no games to play. There's no games to review. It isn't even a draft yet, so there's no guys to actually talk about. I don't like talking about pre-draft because these guys never get who I want anyway, so that's almost like a waste for me. But I'll put something out pretty soon. But the reason I'm addressing you guys today, fans, Eagle Nation, is because I watched a segment. I watched a few segments, but one segment last night was with Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco on the Shay Shay Club thing or whatever it is that they're doing, the nightcap, whatever, where they talked about five quarterbacks they mentioned, okay? Only four I do remember, but there was five quarterbacks they mentioned. Then the subject was, if you are going to start a franchise, okay, for the next 5 years, who do you pick, okay? Now, there were a couple obvious guys out of there, so I guess it was some sort of a thing they were rounding it down to maybe age or I don't know. So anyway, this is the deal. Jordan Love was number one, okay, according to this general manager, whatever. Number two was Joe Burrow. Number three was Justin Herbert. Number four was Jalen Hurts. And number five was another guy. I don't remember. I don't think it was Purdy or anything like that, right? I don't think Purdy was even on it, right? So then I watched, I just finished listening to Rob Parker and Chris Broussard talk about this issue of this Chris Sims clown, right? Who knows a clown? He's a guy that gets low ratings. Nobody watches him. Nobody checks for him because he has no personality. His analysis is trash. He doesn't say anything compelling. He's not a guy that you feel like you need to go to when you need an opinion. He doesn't break down film well. There's nothing compelling about Chris Sims. So because of that, he has to hot take. Hot take is the next way to get people's attention. He knows that the Philadelphia Eagles fan base is very passionate and will come at him like I'm coming at him right now. So he feels like, that's the move to make. I get it because I understand how business works. I understand how this whole, podcasting thing works. So that's what Chris Sims is about. At any rate, he says that Jalen Hurts is the most overrated quarterback in the league. Why he keeps picking on Jalen Hurts? He must want Jalen Hurts to punch him in his mouth. I don't know, but that's what he did. So this is why I'm addressing you today. What I'm saying to you, my people, right, is that what he's saying is something that, right, it's his opinion, he's entitled to it. However, it's impossible. It's impossible for a guy like Jalen Hurts to be overrated. And this is what I'm saying. To be overrated, you have to be part of the privileged class. You have to be part of that class of quarterbacks that fit this particular mold that people want, this physical mold. I don't know sometimes if these guys are picking people they want to have sex with or they're picking guys that they think are good football players, but it's always about, oh my God, look at his size, look at his physique, look at his definition, look at how rocket arm. I don't really know what they're talking. Look at his long legs. Like, I don't know what they're really talking about, whether or not they're like sexually attracted to these guys or if it's just really about football accomplishments. I don't know. But this is the deal. Jalen Hurts is not part of that class of guys. Okay? The guys they're looking for, you got to be 6'4", okay? You got to be have this rocket arm, be throwing sidearm passes that make you say, oh, shit, wow, right? If you have a little bit of athleticism with you, oh, my God, you're just through the moon, right? You're the most talented guy we've ever seen, okay? Jalen Hurts is not part of that class. He's never been part of that class. If he was part of that class, he would have went number one overall. We're talking about a guy that in college had won national championship games. Talking about a guy who went to Oklahoma, put up numbers, came second in the Heisman Trophy running. The only reason he's in the second round is because he's not overrated. He's a guy that's doubted. He's part of the doubted class. He's not part of the privileged class of guys who people believe are the shit, whether they win or lose. Okay? All right. Now, overrated would fit a guy like a Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is a guy who comes in. He can do all the crazy passes. He's the size they want. Right? The penis length they're looking for. I don't know what it is they talk about. They keep talking about physicality that it confuses me. But he does he has all of those attributes, those traits. Maybe they think he's cute. Maybe they like his long hair. I don't know. But he's a guy that can't get to the freaking playoffs. He got to the playoffs one time. Despite having Austin Eckler as a running back. Despite having Keenan Allen as a receiver, Mike Williams as a wide receiver, big tight ends, all these different things. This guy gets to the damn playoffs. When he gets to the playoffs, he gives up a 28-point lead and loses. In spite of that, most of these gyms will still take him over Jalen Hurts. Okay? That's a guy that's overrated. That's not a guy that Okay, Jalen Hurts doesn't qualify to be overrated. Overrated is a guy like Trevor Lawrence, who did they even make the playoffs this year? Maybe they did. They lose, right? But I like Trevor. Not trying to hate on him, but I'm just saying Trevor is part of that class of guys. All right, Josh Allen, who I love his talent. I think he's a beast. But he's a guy that has shown some mental weakness in those games, some bad decision making at key points in games. Okay? He hasn't gotten past a certain point. And it's like, despite that, he's still going to say he's second, he's third, whatever. Right? That's just the way it works. Okay? So those privileged guys, Joe Burrow is another one. Great player. I'm not sitting there telling you today that Jalen Hurts is a better player than Joe Burrow, but what I'm telling you is that if you're looking at things other than physical attributes and traits and their face and whatever the hell these people are looking at, if you're looking at absolute body of work, he's a guy that actually gets injured too much. Okay, this is the second time he was out for a season in 4 years or 5 years. He did get to a Super Bowl that 1 year. Great. So when people put him at number 2, I have no problem with it. But like what happened this year, he's injured pretty much all year. If Jalen Hurts was injured like that, he would be considered the 30th best quarterback because he's not part of the privileged class. Okay? With all of that being said, I don't have a problem with my quarterback not being part of the privileged class. I had a privileged class guy, and Carson Wentz, and he felt like he was privileged. He knew he was. He took that attitude into the locker room. And you see what happened with that. Right? Carson Wentz lost it with me in 2018. When we picked up Golden Tate, we had a chance. We were on a bye week and we picked up Golden Tate and Carson Wentz decided to go hunting instead of getting acclimated with his new damn wide receiver. I was done with him after that. But we're not gonna rehash that stuff. That stuff pisses me off. But Jalen Hurts, listen, every freaking thing Jalen Hurts got, he had to earn that from the gut. We're talking about a guy that walks onto Alabama. Not an easy place to walk onto. Talent everywhere. I respect that, number one. Number one, because many of these great, talented quarterbacks don't even have a heart to go to Alabama, to even try out there. Because they know, oh, damn, all this talent everywhere, I might not even make it. Just to have the confidence in yourself to even walk on there. And to start as a redshirt freshman. Take his team to the championship game. All right? Lose, of course, in the effort to Deshaun Watson. That's okay, Clemson. Right? But that's what we're talking about. A guy that knows about the big times, the big games, the big spotlight, knowing how to play with great talent around him and against great talent. Then in the second year, of course, we know what all happened. The adversity of he had to work on his passing. Right? He was running a lot, and this hurt him in the championship game. And we know about the Tua Tagovailoa stuff. We know about all of that. All right? But we're talking about a guy, okay, loses his job, goes through the adversity, decides to become a better passer. And let's not forget, he did the next year come back and win, that when Tua went down. Okay, he did get his redemption. Then he goes to Oklahoma. And comes second in Heisman Trophy winning. Throwing for damn near 4,000 yards. All right, put up ridiculous numbers. All right. So everything this guy has, and even then they didn't give him the Heisman Trophy. He's runner-up. He's always close. But everything he gets is from the gut. There is no overrating Jalen Hurts. Everything he gets, he earned. Comes in behind Carson Wentz. We know what happens there. People still doubt him. But anyway, they move on. They give him the reins. His first season, those some up and downs and some bumps and bruises. He gets his team to the playoffs. Right? You guys is dick-jocking some of these guys who can't even get to the playoffs. Right? Don't matter. If he's part of the privileged class, then he's supposed to get to the playoffs. Right? Those privileged guys, they look for excuses when those guys don't get to the playoffs. Justin Herbert don't make the damn playoffs. What are they? They going to blame everybody, man. They going to get rid of the damn. They done got rid of the coach. They ain't got rid of the damn offensive coordinators. They done got rid of all types of stuff. Started looking at some damn Justin Herbert. All right? But that's the deal. That's what happens when you're a guy like him and you're putting up all these numbers. But he don't put up numbers because he has those receivers to them. When Hurts puts up those numbers, it's because he got A.J. Brown. When Herbert puts all them numbers, it's just because he's great. You see the difference? So, Jalen Hurts, he takes his team his first time, takes his first crack. He gets to the playoffs. What do people got to say? Oh my God, look how he looked against Tampa. The defending champions, right? And you know Nick Sirianni went out there with a dumbass game plan, wasn't running the ball. But we don't remember all that though. We won't forget that. Scared to run the ball because all of a sudden Tampa Bay can't stop. But running is what got you there. Why are you not running the ball? I ain't going to talk about that. It pisses me off. And then the next year, pick up A.J. Brown. Then what happens? You give this guy 2 wide receivers. What happens? Super Bowl run. All right, and in the Super Bowl, he showed that he belonged there. He was the best player on the floor. That's why he showed he belonged there. He was the best player on the floor, right? So anyway, he's first team All-Pro. That's just what he earned. Super Bowl run, he was there. Ain't no overrating a guy like that. At the end of that year, you're supposed to say that guy is a second best quarterback, third best quarterback. Right? NFL top 100, he's the third best player. How the hell do you overrated when you earned that shit? You went up there and you got that first team All-Pro. You earned that. How you overrated when you got the hardware? What are you talking about? You played in the Super Bowl. We saw you there and you balled out. How you overrated when you in the Super Bowl? Make it make sense. Now, when you're a guy that ain't in the Super Bowl, that's how you can overrate a guy. Right? How you can overrate a guy that's in the Super Bowl? That's balled out in the Super Bowl. But a guy that just can't make it, he ain't overrated. He great. What are you talking about? See, that's why I don't pay these guys any mind. And I like them, and I like it. I actually like it. I like a quarterback that's doubted. I like a quarterback with a chip on his shoulder. I like a quarterback with bulletin board material to put up on his locker room that he's looking at every day. I don't like a guy that gets his ass kissed and get to be part of the privilege class. So you get the privilege class, what those guys are going to do is they're going to fool you. They're going to have you think every year that they're going to do something because they get sidearm pass. They have you hanging by the thread because of that stuff. What Jalen Hurts is giving you is something solid. It's something real. He didn't got there before, right? He didn't got there in college. He didn't got there here. That's what I'm talking about, right? He got it up here. You know the moment ain't too big. Sometimes the situation is too big, but Jalen Hurts don't lose. Jalen Hurts does not lose because the moment is too big. Jalen Hurts does not lose just because he chokes. That ain't why he loses. He loses because, okay, it could be a legit mistake, or he loses because sometimes the situation just ain't right. The other team is better, or the game plan ain't right, whatever. You got to beat him. He ain't going to just lose the game his damn self. That's the difference. Some of these guys, man, that's part of this privilege class, some of these guys, they go out there and it's there and they don't take it. It's there and they don't take it. You know what I mean? So I don't fall for none of that nonsense. You know what I'm saying? I love it. Assuming the Eagles are going to do the right thing. But I'm glad. Yeah, Jalen Hurts got a new offensive coordinator, somewhat of a version of the West Coast offense. That's good. We got motion in the offense. Our receivers love the offense from what I'm hearing. You know what I'm saying? So get ready. It's about to be a little different. Now, I don't know what they're going to do on the defense. I'm still waiting to see what we do in the draft. I'm waiting to see what we do about linebacker. I'm waiting to see what we do with that damn secondary before I start talking too grizzly. But Jalen Hurts, I ain't worried about. I ain't worried about that. That's going to be cool. That's the one part of the team I ain't worried about is Jalen Hurts. See you guys later, man. Peace.